Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today I'm going to go over some comments, and I like going through the comments section. I like responding to it. Sometimes I respond through video format like I'm doing here. And I think this one's definitely worthy of a video response. It says, can someone explain to me the significance of the baseload exploration finding? I'm unfamiliar with uranium exploration terms, like should I be putting more money in? Is this a big deal? So there's two areas that I like to invest in companies. One is the exploration portion in a commodity company, and then one that's developing a mine. And that's kind of where the majority of the uranium companies are at. They're either in exploration or they're in the development of a mine. There's very few that are actually uh, producing uranium or extracting uranium, mining it. And when a company finds something, what they do is they drill down and they hit something. They don't necessarily know how big it is. They just know that they hit something. And that's what the first hole for baseload was. Their first hole was, we hit something, we don't know how big it is, we just know there's something there. And usually when you hit something like that, I see that as a good buying opportunity because you know something's there, you just don't know how big it is. So it's not like you're speculating on them going from nothing to something. What you're speculating on is they have something, and then they have to define what that something is. So they drill more holes in it to further define what the deposit could potentially be, the size of it, the depth of it, basically the 3D dimension of whatever this thing is. And I always go, if you hit something, you can buy it, and it's the risk is kind of de-risked already. Now it's just how big is it? And I'm doing that with some of the companies. Baseload I bought before they found anything. Now, now they're in the spot that they found something, they have discovery. They just don't know how big it is. And that's usually a pretty low risk spot to be buying something. We've got Reconnaissance Energy Africa. They drilled 2 wells and they hit on both wells. Now they're trying to define what that deposit is. And I've been continuing to purchase it over time in RECAF. And it's actually a very good price right now, in my opinion. And I continue to buy it. So I view it as a low risk way to play something because you know they have something. Now it's just how big is it? And now they're starting to space these things out and start drilling, and now they're still intersecting things, which means that it could be a very large deposit, because if you start spacing out and you're continuing to hit everywhere, you can space out even more, or you can move. And again, guys, I don't know what this deposit looks like. That's exactly what they're doing, is defining what it looks like. And you could have this weird looking deposit where you've got a little small deposit on this side, and it's one big continuous deposit that's skinny on one side and then blows out where it collected in this area. And we could be drilling, holes and getting this data from a certain portion of this gigantic, it could be a gigantic deposit, we don't know. And the deposits aren't all uniform, so it's difficult to say what it necessarily looks like. But they'll find it. I mean, they found it. It's just they'll define it and see what that exactly is. The depth, height, width, length, depth, all that stuff. And I think, would I chase it right now? I don't know. I don't have that answer for you. I can't tell you if it's going to pull back. I can't tell you any of that stuff. But I mean, I bought a lot in it already, and I bought it from a really good price because I kind of sniped it pretty low when people weren't looking. And that's when you want to buy, is when it's low. Right now, it's up to you if you want to go into it. It's probably not a bad deal. But remember the strategies: cost average in. If people get really excited, whenever there's max excitement, that's probably not a good time to be purchasing. I'd maybe wait and see if the excitement wears off a little bit. Maybe you get a little bit of a pullback. That's where I like entering companies. I don't like doing it when it's max excitement. And it says here, another one, since the start of 2021, I've actually been able to build quite a sizable position in physical precious metals because of the low prices. 10% of my overall portfolio. Ready to rock it now. That's good. Physical precious metals, kind of, I'll say it, I'm trying to find the right word. It insulates you from certain risks. And that's exactly what I think a portfolio needs, is insulation from currency risk, from risk of taxes, from risk of all this stuff. Because once you're off the grid, it's kind of like they don't know what you own. I mean, it's out of the grid, and that's what makes physical precious metals so valuable. I don't think we're getting that security or that private investment that hasn't had a premium yet. Just wait. Everyone who wants everything tracked on crypto, that's crazy. You want to be untracked, untraceable, out of the system. But that's my opinion. Baseload hit another big hit today. It was actually 2 wells, I think, multiple wells that hit, or multiple not wells, but multiple drill holes. I always think oil for some reason. So here's the question from someone: physical platinum or gold? Has gold taken over first position in the strategy? No, not necessarily. I hold more silver. My largest position is silver, just because it was accessible. People were selling it for ridiculously stupid low prices, and I just continued to buy it from people for really low prices. Platinum's my second largest holding because of the ratios, and then I have gold. Gold is the monetary king metal. So gold did incredibly well during the 1970s bull market, and I think it's going to do incredibly well coming up. So I think we're just starting that move. We haven't broken the $1837 mark yet. We are not in an uptrend yet, but I do think we have positive. It's obviously a positive development going up $30, $40 in a day per ounce. So that is coming here. So that's good. It says, I hope you're right, but I think that's way too bullish for uranium. I don't even think I consider myself a big bull, but it's not even that big of a bull. It's just history repeating itself. If history repeats itself, uranium would go to like $600 something a pound. And everyone who says it's, we'll go back to 140. Well, why would we go back to 140? You know how much money they've printed? You know how much money is out in the system sloshing around right now compared to the last bull market? I mean, we're like 3 or 4 times the money supply just to get uranium even to 140. And I'll pull up a thing here. To go back to 140, if we 3x the money supply, I mean, that's $420 a pound. That seems doable. I don't know. I mean, that's not even that big of a bull. That's just history repeating itself. And that wasn't even, that last bull market was just a commodity bull market. It wasn't even that big of a supply-demand imbalance. You just wait until what's coming. They had decommissioned missiles back then and all sorts of stuff. We have nothing now. I mean, this could make that number there look like it's incredibly low. I think we could hit $1,000 a pound, but you know what? I'm a uranium bull. I think that the dynamics are far different. I think gold could go far higher. We've got far more money in the system, and we've got worse crises in energy, and we've got way better supply-demand fundamentals. I mean, everything that you look at this, it gets better and better. Now, is it going to get that high? I have no idea what price it's going to get to. I just know it's cheap, and when it's that cheap, I don't want to make predictions. I'm just saying that remain open to ridiculous numbers. That's all I'm trying to say. Remain open. Don't be closed-minded and think, and I'm not talking specifically to this person, just don't be closed-minded in general. Be open to whatever the market throws at us. Has anybody else fallen in love with Andy yet? Thanks, Andy. You've given them the confidence to hold on through any pullback. Hopefully it's it's a brotherly love. All right, guys, brotherly love. Going on down, there's a lot of base load comments. Yeah, they hit it. Way to go, base load, and maybe I'll do another separate video on that. I'm bullish, but expect precious metals to be the last horse to run. It will be the last horse, in my opinion. Playing mining majors with good dividends. Copper's at my risk on mining asset for juniors. I like copper a lot. BHP pays a dividend now. BHP is a slam dunk play right now. BHP is a good position to take. Coming on down, looking for more questions. A lot of people talking about partying because everything's going up. So we had a good setup for this breakout today in terms of gold and silver. Let's see what happens when the 10-year rate starts going back up. It seems gold and oil trade moves. Gold rests, oil runs. Oil tests, gold runs. Expect oil to go sideways for a while gold exercises some demons. So if you've noticed, oil goes up with interest rates almost. They seem very highly correlated. And then when interest rates kind of slow down, and this I think is going to change completely. When interest rates slow down, it looks like gold goes up. But what I think is going to happen is that they're both going to run. Gold's going to make a massive move when interest rates hit critical levels and money starts to rotate out of the other sectors. It hasn't done it hugely yet. It started. It's coming. And it just takes time. Coming on down here, there's a really value your opinion on a U.S.-based platinum and nickel mine in Montana, located just next to Siboney Mine. I think that's the Big 10, PGEZF. I think they just have a deposit. I don't think they're doing anything with it, so I haven't really looked too much into it. I did hear the CEO talk on YouTube a little bit, but I'm not that huge on it, at least not yet. That's just me. But you can go into it. Bannerman's up. Yeah, Bannerman's up a lot today. It's up like 20-something%. Go Bannerman, I guess. That's one of the ones I overweighted too. So I overweighted a couple of uranium companies. It's Deep Yellow. This was back in 2020. I overweighted Deep Yellow, Bannerman, Encore Energy, and Baseload. Those are my kind of first big overweights. Then I started piling more into Goviax, Global Atomic. So I positioned in those next kind of for overweight positions. And then I positioned into Forces Metals after it. Notice that they're all the African ones. I do have positions in a whole bunch in the Canadian area. I own all the exploration companies in the Canadian Athabasca region. And then I own a little bit of some other ones too, like UEXCF and some of those. I do own a little bit in UEC, but it's not as much as my other ones. And URG. Do I own URG anymore? No, I don't remember. But the African ones are the ones that I overweighted on all of them, if you want my opinion. Coming on down, and I still think that gold's going to do, when I'm talking gold, I'm talking about precious metals in general. I think precious metals in general are going to do incredibly well. This money supply it's driven. Gold has accounted for nothing of it, and just wait for when it accounts. It's going to go crazy, and maybe it won't go up as much as I think it will. Maybe we hit like 5,000. I don't know, or 3,000 gold or something like that. Maybe we don't get this parabolic move. I think we will if we get interest rates to go higher. I think they'll go vertical. It will go massively higher if we get interest rates to head on up. So I'm always watching interest rates to see what they're doing. So here's a question. It says, so a while back, I sold my gold and silver miners and cash account and went all in on oil and uranium. I wonder if I should move some of my recent profits back to gold and silver. My plan is to buy and hold, but I don't see anything wrong with shifting some profits back and forth between commodities as things develop. But my overall strategy is buy and hold, just like Andy is doing. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, if you've got profits, it's up to you on if you want to go back to gold and silver. I have exposure to absolutely everything. So that's what I would be doing. I'll end it there, guys. What I'm going to do is maybe I'll answer some of these more questions, but I got to get running. So thanks for listening. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. This is Finding Value.